In the heart of the enchanted Everwood forest, nestled among the tall, whispering trees, there was a cozy tree house where three best friends lived. Gigi Bardo, a curious little boy with a heart full of wonder. Ginalinaloo, a fluffy bunny with ears that could hear the thoughts of all the animals. And Chichoo, a clever cat with a nose that could sniff out hidden paths and magical artifacts. It was a warm, sunny day in September, and the three friends were enjoying a peaceful afternoon in their treehouse. As they looked out over the forest, Gigi noticed something strange. "Look, Ginalinaloo, Chichoo," he said, pointing out the window. "The fruits and berries in the forest, they're still so small and green. By now, they should be ripe and ready to pick." Ginalinaloo twitched her nose thoughtfully.
"You're right, Gigi. Usually the forest is bursting with colorful, juicy fruits at this time of the year. But everything looks different."
Chichoo nodded, his sharp eyes narrowing as he surveyed the forest below.
"It's like the fruit has stopped growing,"
he said.
"This could be a problem for all the animals who rely on the harvest to prepare for the colder months."
Gigi's thoughts drifted back to the day they had discovered the magical book hidden in a hollowed tree deep in Everwood. The book had given each of them a special power. Gigi could teleport them to any place in the world. Ginalinaloo could communicate with animals, and Chichoo could sense hidden paths and magical items. Since that day, they had used the book to go on many wonderful adventures, helping others and learning important lessons along the way. Now it seemed they would need the book's magic once again.
"Let's go visit our friends in the forest,"
Gigi suggested.
"Maybe they're having the same problem with their fruits and berries."
So Gigi, Ginalinaloo and Chichoo climbed down from their treehouse and set off to visit their friends. But everywhere they went, they found the same thing. The fruits and berries were small, green, and far from ripe. The squirrel, the birds, and even the bears, they were all worried that the harvest wouldn't be ready in time for the season. As the friends gathered under a large oak tree, the wise old owl, who had lived in Everwood for as long as anyone could remember, perched on a low branch and looked down at them with concern. "There's something amiss in the forest," the owl hooted softly. "The fruits and berries should have ripened by now. It's as if time itself has slowed, and the harvest is out of sync."
"But what can we do?"
asked a small, nervous squirrel.
"We need the harvest to prepare for the winter. If the fruits don't ripen soon, we won't have enough food."
Gigi, always ready to help, furrowed his brow in thought. "Maybe the magical book can help us figure out what's wrong?" he suggested. "It's guided us on so many adventures before. Maybe it can lead us to a solution." Ginalinaloo's ears perked up at the idea.
"That's a great idea, Gigi. The book knows so many things. It might show us how to help the forest."
Chichoo nodded in agreement.
"Let's go back to the treehouse and see what the book has to say."
With the forest animals watching anxiously, Gigi, Ginalinaloo, and Chichoo hurried back to their treehouse. Gigi gently opened the book, and the pages began to flutter, glowing softly as they turned. Suddenly, the book stopped on a page filled with images of a beautiful vineyard, golden grapes hanging heavy on the grapevines and people dancing and celebrating under the warm September sun. The Grape Harvest Festival, Gigi read out loud. In France, this time of the year is called Les Vendanges, when the grapes are harvested to make wine. It's a time of celebration, hard work, and coming together as a community. Ginalinaloo's eyes sparkled with excitement.
Maybe if we learn how they harvest their grapes, we can bring that knowledge back to Everwood and help the fruits ripen here too?
But before we go, Gigi said, closing the book for a moment, let's take a moment to relax and feel safe before we teleport to the vineyard. Gigi, Ginalinaloo, and Chichoo sat down on their soft, cushiony chairs in the treehouse. Gigi's voice was gentle and calming as he began their relaxation ritual. Close your eyes, Gigi began softly, and let's take a few deep breaths together. Breathe in slowly, in and out. Feel the air filling your lungs and then gently let it go. In and out. And as we breathe together, imagine you are laying on a soft, fluffy cloud high in the sky. This cloud is like a cozy, magical bed just for you. Feel the cloud gently rocking you as a warm breeze carries you through the sky. Breathe in the fresh, clean air, in and breathe out, letting all your worries drift away. And now, as we float on our magical cloud, imagine looking down and seeing the world below. See the beautiful forests with their tall green trees, the sparkling streams winding through the land, and the friendly animals playing happily. Breathe in deeply, in and let it out slowly, out. Feel the warmth of the sunlight on your face like a gentle hug from the sun. Imagine the soft glow of the sun wrapping around you, making you feel safe and loved. Breathe in the sunlight, in, and breathe out any remaining tension. We're now gliding over the lush green vineyards of France, where people are celebrating the Grape Harvest Festival. In a flash of sparkling light, There were whisked away from Everwood and transported to the heart of the vineyard, where their adventure to save the forest's harvest would begin. When Gigi, Ginalinaloo and Chichoo arrived in the picturesque vineyards in France, they were greeted by the lively sights and sounds of the grape harvest festival, Les Vendanges. The vineyard stretched out before them, with rows of vines heavy with golden grapes, their sweet scent filling the air. Everywhere they looked, people were working together to pick the grapes, their laughter and the sound of traditional French music echoing through the vineyards. Gigi's eyes sparkled with excitement. "Wow! Look at how everyone is working together. It's like a big party," he exclaimed. Ginalinaloo's ears twitched as she listened to the joyful chatter of the workers and the gentle hum of the vines.
They're so happy because they know how important this moment is. It's the reward for all the hard work they've put into growing these grapes,
she said thoughtfully. Chichoo, always curious, sniffed at the air and noticed the careful way the workers handled the grapes.
Oh, it's not just about picking the grapes. They're making sure to pick them at just the right time, when they're perfectly ripe.
The trio joined in the harvest, each taking a basket and carefully picking the grapes from the vines. They worked alongside the villagers, learning how to gently twist the grapes from the vine and place them carefully into the baskets. As they worked, they began to understand that the vineyard's success wasn't just about the grapes themselves. It was about the care, patience, and timing that went into every step of the process.
This must be what the fruits in Everwood need,
Gigi said, as he placed another bunch of grapes into his basket.
A little more attention and care, just like how they're treating these grapes.
Ginalinaloo nodded in agreement.
And we need to make sure we're picking the fruits at just the right time, like they do here. Timing is everything.
Chichoo looked up at the sun, now beginning to set over the vineyard, casting a warm, golden light over the fields.
It's about working together too. Everyone here has a role, and together they make sure the harvest is successful.
As the festival continued into the evening with dancing, music, and a feast, Gigi, Ginalinaloo, and Chichoo knew they had learned something truly valuable. It was time to return to Everwood and share their newfound knowledge with their forest. Back in Everwood, Gigi, Ginalinaloo, and Chichoo gathered all the forest animals together beneath the great oak tree. The wise old owl was there, along the squirrels, birds, bears, and all their woodland friends.
We learned so much at the vineyard,
Gigi began, excitement bubbling in his voice.
The fruits and berries in Everwood just need a little extra care and attention, just like the grapes we saw. And we need to make sure we harvest them at the right time.
Ginalinaloo explained how everyone in the vineyard worked together to ensure the grapes were harvested perfectly.
It's the same here,
she said.
If we all work together and take care of the fruits, we can help them ripen.
Chichoo added,
we need to watch the fruits closely and make sure we pick them when they're just right. If we do that, the forest will be full of ripe, juicy fruits in no time.
The animals all nodded in agreement and together they set to work. They watered the plants, made sure they had plenty of sunlight, and watched over the fruits and berries with care. As the days passed, the fruits began to grow bigger and more colorful, slowly ripening under the watchful eyes of the forest animals. Finally, the day came when the fruits and berries were perfectly ripe. The forest was once again bursting with vibrant colors: red, orange, purple and yellow, fruits hanging heavy on the branches, ready to be picked. The animals were overjoyed, and they decided to celebrate with a harvest festival of their own, just like the one Gigi, Ginalinaloo and Chichoo had experienced in France. There was music, dancing, and a feast of freshly picked fruits. The animals laughed and played, grateful for the abundance that had returned to Everwood. Gigi, Ginalinaloo and Chichoo watched with pride, knowing that their hard work and teamwork had paid off. As the festival came to an end and the moon began to rise, the trio took a quiet walk back to their cozy treehouse. As they strolled through the forest, bathed in the soft glow of the moonlight, Gigi, Ginalinaloo and Chichoo reflected on their journey. "I'm so glad we could help the forest," Gigi said with a contented sigh. "It feels good to see everyone working together and enjoying the harvest." Ginalinaloo smiled, her fluffy ears twitching gently.
We learned that sometimes things just need a little extra care and patience. And when we work together, we can make something truly wonderful happen.
Chichoo, ever thoughtful, added,
Timing is important too, just like in the vineyard. We need to pay attention to when the fruits are ready. It's a good lesson for all of us.
As they reached their tree house, Gigi placed the magical book on a table and suggested, "Before we end our day, let's take a moment to relax and reflect on the magic of our journey." The trio settled into their soft chairs, closing their eyes as Gigi began to speak in a soothing voice. "Close your eyes. Take a deep breath in, and out, out. Imagine the soft glow of the moon above you, filling you with calm and peace. Ginalinaloo's gentle voice followed.
Think about the fruits we helped ripen, the colors, the sweetness. Breathe in the tranquility. In and out. Out.
Chichoo added in a soothing tone.
Remember, no matter how big or small the task, when we work together with care and patience, we can accomplish anything. Feel the warmth of that thought. In and out.
With each breath, they felt more connected to the magic of Everwood and the lessons that they had learned. As they relaxed, they knew that whatever adventures awaited, they would face them together with kindness and courage. "Good night, Everwood," Gigi whispered as they settled down for the night. Until our next adventure.